Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So as I was trying to think about what to make a video about, I know I haven't made them in a while, and partially it's because Spirit's advice was like, you need to go out, you need to live, you need to, make mistakes, learn, like you just need to go do things. You got to stop living in your head and actually start living outside yourself, right? It's spring. Everything that you've waited for all winter, it's now time to go do that. So that was a little bit of it. But another thing was, I kind of was also going through something. And it took me down the rabbit hole, right? You have to go within to uncover these things that you've hidden from yourself. And I find when I'm there, it's very hard for me to get to the place where I go when I do readings. And so a lot of the times my guides were asking me to channel them. And because that, like, when I'm there, it's kind of that one-on-one space. And I just wouldn't, I don't know. I like being in control of me. So I kind of like that they're in the background and talk. I didn't want them to have control. And the things that they wanted to talk about, I also thought were a little bit personal. And I always have this confusion of, like, being of service, but not making it about yourself, but only knowing your story to share, right? So I am a very private person, and I do share a lot. It's confusing, but I feel like that's just Aquarius energy, and I'm ridiculously Aquarius. Like, you take the birth chart and you throw in like 6 Aquarius placements. That's me. So keep it different, switch it up, change is good. I made really good, gross, good. I made really good, gross coffee today. Woo. Okay. Anyways, and so, yeah, when I'm in this space and this other space, I find it very hard to do the readings, and I don't know where that line of, like, sharing too much and not too much and making about others. Every job I've ever had was to be of service to others. And so one day I sat down with my friend and I was like, you have no idea how nice it is to sit across from someone who actually knows you, who actually sees you. And a lot of people are like, what do you mean by that? But are you the person who everybody kind of comes and talks their problems to you? Are you the one that always kind of like just has to be like a listening ear or hold space for someone? If you ask, how are you today? And then they go off on this big story, do they ever ask back, like, how are you? And if they do, are you always open enough to give a real in-depth answer? Or do you just say, well, everything's good, like my gross coffee over here? And so that is me. I'm a person that's like, I'll share maybe a little bit of what's going on in the moment, but I don't share a lot because I'd rather sit back and watch people. I really love people watching, and people love to show who they are. Very much so. And there's a lot of characters out there. But yeah. So as I made this promise to myself, I was going to do all these videos, because it is what I love to do. But there was another part of me as well. It's all these insights I had of myself, is you actually have to honor who you are. And so for me, being Aquarius, right, that's a lot of air energy. They are the water bearers, so they're not quite emotional people. They're very intellectual. They're very much the mind and air energy. And so in Ayurvedic medicine, they call air element Vata. And so I know that my makeup is a lot of Vata energy. And so Vata is energy that very big bursts, right? It starts off and then it's like go, 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 go. And then there's like a burnout. And then it's go, 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 go. And then it's a burnout. And so I do need to maintain my energy to flow how I know that I really am. I am air energy through and through. And that's why I'm a Queen of Swords. Let me get comfortable here. And so I found that that was something very interesting for me to first learn about myself. Is in Ayurvedic, it's just three elements, right? There's Vata, air, Pitta, fire, and then this one I'm not, so I never remember how to pronounce it properly, but Kumpha, which is like earth. And like you can mix those elements. And so the best way that I could always think is in terms of like elements or seasons and things like that. And so what are you? Do you know what your energy makeup is? Right? Pitta is fire. It's all about action and like passion and power. Earth element, it could... See, I've got the earth elements in my chart where it's needed to keep things good, but most of it's just like fire and air, just set it on fire. And so that's my pattern. So that's what I'm trying to say is if you find that you don't quite know your cycle and you're going out into the world and you feel like you're being pulled and bombarded, do you know what your energy and cycle for effort kind of is? And then that way you can make plans and engage in ways. But here's another thing of why I found the readings to be hard to do. And it's because I freaked myself out. So I do my own cards all the time, right? And I kind of always have like, I can read people so easy. Distinguishing between my energy and other people's energy, so easy. But I can't read myself. But I do get to know like some really crucial, important things. But I did a reading, one of these videos, and I normally when I do it, I felt like, I feel that connection and like I kind of see who I'm talking to and all these things. And I made a video and I didn't quite feel that like I normally did. And I was like, my first instinct is to be like, oh, that felt unauthentic, right? Because I didn't have that normal feeling I felt to it. And then I went off, did my day, and then all of the events in the video that I said happened. And it wasn't until I was like back at home and I saw the video and I was like, wait a minute, like go play that. And then I had this like weird out of body experience and conscious shift. And I've just never, I don't know, it was weird. It was like butterfly feeling. I've never been so creeped out by a reading. And I have no clue like who that man in who the video was even about. Like the stranger came into my life and like Spirit made me do a video on him and I have no clue why. And even to this day, I'm like, who is that mysterious stranger? Like, a part of me maybe doesn't want to know, maybe part of me wants to know. But as I did that, I found that it was a bit of things that had to like unpack from then. That man was like, just by energetically meeting him, kind of set me off on a new course or path. It was so brief, but little did I know that life from that moment changed. And even my friend texted me at that moment. I'm having this like weird trippy something happen, and she texted me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, man. Like things are weird. Like I can't explain what's going on." And so, a couple of weeks it kind of went normal. I was like kind of like looking. I thought maybe there'd be like more signs and synchronicities, because obviously I'd make a video on this to help somehow if I knew what the solution or the lesson or even what the question was. But I don't know what any of that was to do. And it changed me. It changed everything. It freaked me out because it was like a three. When I saw it, I saw myself watching the video, watching that, remembering the day. It was like all these consciousness, and it just was weird. And so I kind of took a mini break from that because I was a little bit, the gift was just opening too much for me at that moment. And then we had all those crazy retrogrades going on and eclipses and full moons and I was tired. And so that's what I also find is I'm going through another shift, another energetic download. And so for those that don't know what an energetic download is, it's like you're you, right? You live your normal life, and the best I can explain is you get hit with this super high frequency, and like, right, it's in your body, and it's like what it is it's information, or right, and everything's energy. So it's like that energy kind of comes to you and then it forms to whatever it wants. It integrates into you until it like settles. So this is high energy, and so you might find like that buzzing. A lot of people get like anxious. You know, it's almost like the caterpillar to butterfly. It is, they're telling me. Because who you were before now energetically like upgrades everything. And so the things that really don't fit in your life have to go. And so for me, they really shook up routines and things like that. And patterns of ways that I acted and reacted to people. And so my videos, they kind of got pushed to later in the day. Because they're like, why do you keep trying to make it in the morning when you're struggling with the sun blinding you in the eye and all these things, when you know you should be out hitting the trails because you live in such a beautiful city, and all these things. Like, you can make everything work, but first they rip the carpet from under you. In these moments, like, you have no control. These are moments where you have to surrender, and in surrendering, things fall away. But you know, there's still, it's a weird phase because you are in the new stage, in the new you, the energetic that you are, but then you also have these tired moments. And so it's just taking it easy. And so myself knowing that I'm Vata energy is like planning my day very accordingly and sparingly, like not overexerting yourself and needing to, you know, take on the brunt and burden, things like that. And so, yeah, I kept going down this rabbit hole because that was like this healing. Whatever this mysterious stranger who, like, synchronicities, like, he should not have been there, but he followed his intuition and I was doing my intuition. And in that moment, I didn't even think it as significant until, like I said, I was sitting at home, and then later it made sense. I kept thinking, you know, I could talk about this or share this later, but it still doesn't make sense. It never will make sense, I don't think. And you have to let go of the need for control for that. And so that's my lesson here. And so I've just been going outside the box, doing all these crazy things, sleeping. I've just been sleeping so much. And the thing with healing is it's never over. It's never done. I just went through this in January, right? There's a little hiatus in January, and now it is again. And so I am going to forewarn, I will disappear in other times because I will energetically need to upgrade. They're showing me like a bear hibernating. Like, there is times you need to stop and slow. And they say sometimes you're going to change things up and you're going to show it in different ways. So don't get used to the same consistency and pattern, which I'm like, that's what I've been striving to create. So we'll see. Because I do want to always make the messages about the collective, but this is the funniest thing as well. I was in my backyard connecting to my guides, working on the plants and everything. And the neighbors came and they wanted to say hello. And I could hear the one talked to the other one. I was like, oh, don't bug her. She's a very private person. And a part of me was happy because I was so in depth. I was so connected in it that I'm hearing twice removed. It's like twice removed to getting back. It's like needing to shift 2 more gears before I can actually have the physical conversation. And so it is very hard to keep jumping back and forth between these two. And so sometimes you got to go there. And this cave, it's a cave, they tell me. It's like a place where you go of creation. It is within you. It's kind of near your heart flame. Everyone has it. So I just thought, let's pull some quick cards using my new favorite ones, because every time I use them, like really cool stories come out. And I do have like a list of like things that stories and downloads that I want to make videos for, but I've actually found it so hard just to sit in front of it and be present enough to do it. And so I'm working really hard on everything. So today they say start from the top, work your way out. And it is, even if dark-souled entities are in your own family, know that you can divorce yourself from them. What does that even mean with everything that I just talked about? Oh, I know. It's the way that you react to people. So I did have to put up boundaries with someone. I don't want to say that they're dark soul, but they are very negative. Like that's their pattern, that's their rut, that's their loop. They are complainers, and everything is this big grievance and injustice all the time. But a false sense of taking accountability. And so with this person, they do enjoy my presence, but I did have to put these boundaries for them. Like, hey, like this needs to be this and this and this. And I thought things were gonna go bad actually, and it was taking a lot of my time and effort as well, to the point that she made me really tired. And so I did need even more recovery time as I'm going through this soul thing. Like I said, it's been really weird lately. I feel like it's like watching a movie to me. It's like I'm behind myself watching myself do things. It's weird. And so I'm just trying to grasp everything that's going on. The next one is, when you get down, call on your angels, especially the thrones, who are Mother God's army of protection, and the principalities, who are Father God's army of protection. I don't know why my mouth had trouble saying that. I actually want to read the next one before I make a comment on that. It says, I don't know if I'm showing them. Their colors. There's never an easy way to do anything worthwhile. Through hard work, you learn. Okay, and then we have destruction, and then we have blood ancestors, which is weird because I'm finding that this has nothing to do with what I just talked about. But this one had family. Awesome. Okay, sorry. I was like, everything I just talked about, and they're like, all right, so this is the message that we actually need to give out to somebody. And so we're so glad that you just sat in front of the video and you thought you were going to make it about that, but now we're going to add this. Let's get in there and do it. And now I feel back and connected. And so really I just had to sit here in front and mumble and just confess a few couple of things. Because I am finding the connecting, the coming present, and the mouth and messing up words a little hard right now, but that's okay. So here we have the dark-souled entities in the family. It says you can leave them. You're not stuck to somebody. If somebody is harming you, if they take advantage of you and you think that you need to work yourself to the point where you have nothing left to give, that is not okay. Here we see, especially if you're going through an upgrade, they're saying, you really need to honor these energetic upgrades. You do need time for like whatever it is that they're telling you to do. Sometimes you need to go meditate more. Sometimes you really need to up your water. Water especially will just help things flow, help you stay calmer, less agitated, especially in that high intensity. Water smooths things. And then sleep. Sleep is so important. So if you're that person who burns the candles from both ends, in order to please other people, like they'll never, in the end, it will just be a dishonor to everyone and yourself, and you've cut yourself even shorter. Right? So if you did it in a healthy manner and you took the rest when you needed it, it doesn't come with a cut or a loss or the bloodshed here. And so that, if you're finding like the things that you're doing come at a sacrifice or a cut to you, to call on the protection, which is interesting because when I was just sitting with a friend, I've done so many readings for friends lately, but in one of them, it was all about the violet flame. So I feel like that message is coming through here as well. The violet flame is Saint Germain, right? And so he's an ascended master, and it's powerful. So you do have to have like spiritual wisdom with that, right? The more and more that you're trying to avoid something, it's like you're running from something. What is that one thing that you keep running from? And if you were to stop and deal with that and face it, then you can unravel and change things. Like it is your reality to create, and that's what they're showing. They're like, that's why you had such a hard time. As I was watching it, right, as I was watching this reading I did for myself on the TV, watching myself out of body experience, I was like, well, I thought I was the creator in my own reality, and here I am just watching and observing, and that's where my shift kind of came from. And I really needed to go and reflect on that, because there is a part where you do go out and create and manifest, and then there is a part where you sit and you observe and you allow. But that being said, the universe will never allow you to be somebody's venting bag or beast of burden or whatever. Straw that broke the camel's back. Like, okay, they're saying back. Something about someone's back. And seeing someone have just so many responsibilities piled up on them that, you know, they are hunched over. But in that, I don't know, what now they're showing me is like, it's become so much burdensome that now they can't breathe. That now it's turned into like anxiety. And the thing is these things, like I almost see like Santa and like his like pouch, and then, or that, yeah, and then everything comes out. And as everything comes out, you expect it to be presents and all this like important like things, but it's like actually like a hobo's bag. And I see like tin cans coming out and just garbage and rust, and it's false. It's like working yourself to the point of destruction when it should be polished. It should be like wrapped up in a bow, ribbon, presented on a platter type thing. I feel like whoever keeps taking this responsibility on is doing it because they're avoiding, they think that if they do this, they're gonna avoid a fight or something that's even harder. But really, if you had confronted that head on first, this doesn't exist, and this stuff isn't important. Everything that I see that's on the back, it's garbage, it's rubbish. It's I see like maybe one or two things that you can kind of like keep and like refurbish and like maybe somehow like turn it into something else, but the way that things are going about right now is not the way that it should be. It's better just to let that garbage go and keep the bag, right? That's your back, I guess. And then I see standing taller, and once you're taller, then there's like that relief, that I'm seeing the movie Waiting to Exhale, and usually in it, it's always about like strong, independent women, right? Keeping it all together, and then they find like that person that they can finally trust. And it's not like someone doesn't want to be submissive or, let their guard down. It's just that they don't trust the people that they can, right? Because even if there's these dark souled entities, right, it is some like, you should be allowed to let your guard down. You should be able to breathe. You shouldn't have to walk on eggshells and hold your breath throughout your day. So make every step count. Don't try to blend in and not exist. Oh, yeah. Every step creates a ripple. Make every step count. Make a splash. Okay. Anything else that we can kind of touch on, or should we end it there? I'm seeing that there is a little bit of inner demons to deal with, to face, and once you kind of do that, then you'll stop allowing other people treat you poorly outside of yourself. Because I almost see like it's in a punishment in yourself, and where it's a part where you're like, I don't like this about myself, or I deem this as bad or something, and then so I'm gonna make up for it by allowing someone to treat me poorly. It doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing that well, but many different routes and possible equations to get to the same outcome. I'm just hearing like apologies. Your guides are like, we're so sorry that this is family. Like, I feel like for someone it's like belief systems are being shattered, because you had such loyalty and values when it came to family. And so, oh man, goosebumps. Oh, that's good. That's the hardest part, right? Because you're like, oh, that's tough. Let's pull one more card for you then. Because it's you going against your belief system that like this is how you're not allowed to make this choice. You're not allowed to have change. Like, you need to take the brunt of this burden, and that's not true, right? Because at the end it leaves you drained and lifeless, and you're meant to be out dancing, they said. So the next card, ooh-wee, is pure balance. And so what stands out to me is in the hands, right here, right there, and right there. The light and the dark. there is something in you that needs to balance. You do need to embrace a bit of that wild, that whatever side, and not try to deny it. You know ethically what is right, and if it feels in the highest good for your soul's evolution, then I would honor that, right? It would never take you down it would take you down a destructive path, but the thing with some fires is it heats up the seeds to release from their protective shells, gets rid of the old, right? There is healing to do. Healing is a destructive, messy process. And sometimes you need time. And sometimes you love doing things like making videos and you can't come up to it because you need to do your inner soul work, you need to rest, you need to find whatever it is that is your thing within yourself to work on and work through. You can work on it, but you got to work through it. That's what they're saying. And by going through the journey, there's never an easy way to do anything worthwhile. Through hard work, you learn. So through the hard work, through the journey, by going through another energetic upgrade, by letting go of what's not meant for you, it will leave you standing at the end of the day just saying, what the fuck? And that's confusing. Because that's why I haven't made videos for the last while, is because it would have just me been trying to figure out this event going, what the actual fuck? What was the purpose of all this? I cannot figure it out. And maybe sometimes at the end of the day, you might not get the answer, but you've learned something. You just don't know what yet. And it will make sense one day. And so you wake up, you do the work, you show up, and sometimes by showing up, you just show up for yourself by taking rest. And we'll leave the video there. All right, well, it was nice to actually kind of be a little bit more present and not so deep and introspected. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And whoever this is, that is a tough choice because it is family. But you have to honor yourself first and have those boundaries, because it should be like you pulling from source energy and you being so full that you can share. But if it comes at a place where you know that you have this little bit of energy and you don't really have the time or energy or resources to go do the things that are expected, there's an imbalance. And that's why you really need to come back to this pure balance. Coming back to balancing the light and the dark within yourself. And yeah, just making the choices within first and then coming to others and being like, this is what I've come up with. All right. Bye, guys.